Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick here with some raw day trading, and we're going to go over a couple of lessons today. I ended up walking away with just over 500, like 520, which solid day. I'm happy about it. I wasn't really expecting much, but out of the open, I saw this stock IMNN, which was continuation, and it was pushing up towards a great daily level of gap fill. And that's the main trade I took at the first. I actually gave back probably a little bit too much on it, but I come to it with this point of view here, and this is what I see. It's kind of hesitating, and something about it just feels right. I can't describe it. I mean, maybe I can describe it. Let's look at all the factors. It was recent continuation runner. It had ran, popped up again, and then was making this sideways consolidation for a couple days now. It broke a daily level, broke yesterday's level, and then it was pushing against the previous day's level. It tests low already, gets bought back up, and there was a big gap fill right here at 240. And so I'm in at 235. It's instantly in the green. And I'm holding on because I want to see it rip into a halt, which wasn't super realistic. And I was like, let's, keep this tight. If this unwinds, this unwinds. And I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to let I was green for a second there, green nicely. It would have been a great little, $100 scalp. And now I'm closing the position out flat. I just, have a new process that I'm sticking to, which is I'm not going to let a green trade go red. And that was a good example of the execution against that. So I actually really like that policy. But it holds up. It holds up, and the setup looked good enough to where I actually jumped back in higher. It was the right time of day, 2 minutes in, right look, right setup, continuation. And I was like, look, I'll risk a couple $100 on this. It's looking good. I get in there, 38, boom. And oh my Lord, some short seller, I think, just stopped out there because all of a sudden it's up to 50. And then for a second here, it pops up to 58. And I'm like, there's little liquidity there on the bid. There's no way I'm really it closes strong. And then now it's at my break even. And I'm like, fuck, what's going on? It's not actually going. So I wait for a little bit more liquidity here, and then I just cut the position. It ends up being a lose. Does it win or a loser? I'm not sure. It's not popping back above 50. That's the problem. I don't have a doubt that eventually it will, but it's okay. There we go. There's a little bit, and it's not holding. Oh, there's a little bit more, but the candle's red, and I'm like, fuck. I take half off, letting it run. But that big red 1 minute candle, high volume 1 minute candle, Even though, it's back up towards the highs, I'm like, this is not looking fantastic. So I take it off right here. And, $260, not a bad trade. And I think it does end up going back below my break even right there, but then bounces back. And I actually missed the trade. I missed the real trade, which was this. I got it a little bit early at 40, and then I held through the chop as it kind of flushed low, which is a bad move. I could have got roasted on that, but I had a little cushion. And so I ended up cutting it about flat there, and then I chased it. Where did I chase it? I chased it right about here, I think. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Okay, Phil. Not super happy about any of that. Played it poorly, and I end up having to hold through some sketchy areas for basically no profit. So, all right. Anyways, that ends up going a little bit higher, as you would expect it to do, and then totally flushing out. Where do I get back money? I'm not sure. I think, okay, I give back some money here. Yeah, I chase it lower, and I don't get in at the lows. I get in at the rebuy at the highs, which was the mistake. Oh, yeah. I did have smaller size on, which was good, but if you don't have the cojones, stay out of the kitchen. You're going to get your hands burnt. And if you have the cojones, make sure you're in the right spot. So, all right, then there was a whole lot of scattered action. BLRX, I had a nice little trade here. I was watching it. I was like, this looks shady. It looks like it's going to halt. I actually waited a second longer than maybe I could have or should have, but I got $100 off it. Okay. Smaller size. Cool. LWVR was going. This one I remember was tricky. I made money on it the first day, but I was like, I don't have the wherewithal to trade it while it's going straight up. At least not right now. I thought I could find better stuff. CAPT I thought would open up. It was a penny name, but it was actually about the end of the penny cycle because it's about to cross one, and that usually is the pinnacle. And the volume wasn't there, and I was just like, whatever. Yeah, Yeah, CAPT is this one. It just ended up not going. And then IMNN ends up kind of pushing back above. I don't know if I take any more trades on it. It's sort of lower volume on the second leg up, so I was just like, fuck it. And that was the morning. And then the last couple $100 I made on this silly stock. It was a penny name, the Buru. And I'll just fast forward here through the action. I think it was a 50-cent stock. I think everyone thought it was going to pop back above 50, but at this point I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good. A little double top under the highs. And then it totally flushes here. This area, the flush zone, was where I lost, and then I made a decent amount. I got a 10K in here. So I lost on this one, but they were smallish losses relative to the size I had. And this one I jumped in with 10K, and I'm like, ooh, I'm probably gonna have to cut it. I'm waiting there, cut it there. Okay, so now I'm red, bust below, bust the lows again, and I'm like, well, the halts are pretty low on this. They're pretty wide, very wide percentage wise. And I don't think it's going to go there, so I was okay to keep trying because I didn't think the halts had a magnet on it. And I had very small size, to be fair, and I kept stopping out as it made new lows. But then that happened. And then I was back in the green. And I was like, okay, let's see how this closes. 5 minute close, high volume red, but it extended itself. And it keeps making new highs here. Take half off. Good trade management, or decent trade management at least. But I could have held towards VWAP. I don't though. Where's the other high that I take it off? Oh, actually, I hold decently long, and I make 250-ish on that, 260 maybe. Okay. And that does end up being close to the high. I do a couple more trades. It's going down, whatever. And that's it. That's the day. I make it up to 250-ish on this stock, and that puts me above the gooch. Above the gooch and the juice. That's my day. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Well, fuck it. Let's do let me see if I can pop through and see some lessons from the week. So last week I was pretty annoyed. I played very conservatively and it still was red. Still was red like $400, which was only really the culmination of like a couple $100 stop outs each day. And then I adjusted to not chasing because there wasn't any chase volume. I made that mistake yesterday though when there was chase volume, and that's when like the stock makes a low, makes an uptick, and then you can chase that uptick. What's been happening recently is that the volume after that uptick usually keeps going lower or dries out, or the spreads get a little wider, and then it chops and you stop out, and then it goes. So I made a note to not chase the uptick, but there was volume on the uptick yesterday, and I was getting juicy with the stock. I was actually up like $600, $700, and I increased my size. What ended up happening was that the order size was getting slipped, so I was actually the one pushing the stock higher. Fancy that. I did really good this week, not allowing a green to turn red. It was a short week, and I think the not allowing the green to turn red was a big turning point, because it was in. These always happen in really crucial situations where it's like you have a great position, but the stock wants to retest the lows again, if you let it go red and you stop out and then it goes higher, that's the most demoralizing thing. If it comes to your entry point, if it's green for a little bit, comes to your entry point, comes to my entry point, and then I stop out, I'm always okay to get back in emotionally. And so that's been a huge adjustment this week. And I'd say, just to simplify everything, that's the main thing, along with not chasing moves. So it's like, if I'm buying a dip, I am buying that dip. I'm buying the red volume in that dip. I'm not chasing the green volume after. Granted, sometimes I have to stop out and I take a little bit of a loss, but that's with every strategy. At least this way, if there is a jump, I'm in the jump. I also have a note from Monday or Tuesday, which is winning is very quiet. And the other thing I did this week that was a little bit different is I made it a point to get my 8 hours of sleep 3 out of the 4 nights. And one night, the girlfriend / ex-girlfriend / girl that I hang out with, it's LA, we're all full of situationships here. She was over a second after 9 p.m. West Coast time. But I was laying in bed. I was just chilling, and she was chilling with me. We were just like lazily chatting. And then she left. I went to bed. It was like that. But the point of having everything done Thursday, I have a workout class that's at 7:00, and so my schedule runs late after that. But I ended up doing pretty decently at keeping that sleep schedule tight. And then when there were opportunities in the day, I had the bandwidth to stay focused. That was a little bit of an adjustment, especially because stuff keeps changing in this market, and I'm not quite sure where the next opportunity is going to come from. Like recently, the patterns have been really strong pre-market, and then shout out Ross Cameron, and then really dead open, and then you have a penny name that'll run into the afternoon hours, and everything else pretty much gets demolished. So those are the market insights from this week. Remember, day trading's very risky, very frustrating especially if you're relying on it for income. And this is not investment advice. This is purely for shits and giggles, for entertainment purposes, for posterity. And that's about that. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. I cleaned my house this morning. Relax. And you guys have a fantastic day. Goodbye. Don't day trade based off of my advice. Don't take my advice. Just learn for yourself and learn well. I don't want to get sued. That's why I'm not selling anything. That's why I'm not doing educational stuff. So you guys have a good night. Goodbye.